So it's the 27th of May. Let me show you what's been happening around the plot. We're probably about 50% cultivated now, which is good. Let me show you around. So carport, general needs a lot of weeding. I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so I've just come up to water, and when I get back I've got some weeding to do. But the carport we had stacked high with loads and loads of wood from the back, and we've got rid of that, so that's good. New brassica cages are fully planted. We've got some different types of cabbages, red cabbages, Dutch cabbages, some sprouting broccoli, some normal broccoli, and something else I can't remember. I also threw some kale seeds in here just to see what happens, and then decided to kind of buy seedlings. So what are they? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, broccoli. Two different types of broccoli. Yeah, so it looks like one's a kind of sprouting variety and one's a kind of typical heading variety. So I'm excited to see if this kind of bursts into life. This bed is a bit of a mess. I'm going to replant it when I get back. I had some aubergine and some cucumber seedlings and I put them in too early. They weren't mature enough, and they all got completely eaten by the slugs. So there's still bits left. The cucumbers are trying. You can see they've kind of given it a go. Made some slug collars and fear traps that have been knocked over by the fox, but I'm going to replant this when I get back, with some mature plants, I think, that I'll just get from the garden centre. Sorry, my watch is just deciding to try and send somebody a message. And then my favourite bed is still amazing. I'm hoping in about 2 or 3 weeks time I can harvest some first earlies. So I've got 2 first earlies, a second early and a main crop in here. They've started flowering, so I've started picking off all of the flowers, but just a jungle of potatoes. And the garlic has started yellowing on the flowers, on the second leaves, so I think that might be ready maybe beginning of July. Haven't got any garlic scapes yet, but looking really, really good and really healthy, so happy with that. This is a tomato bed with some various tomato seedlings and experiments kind of dotted around it at the moment. They're doing okay. They're off to a bit of a slow start, but they are growing. Again, maybe in a little bit small, but they have kind of picked up, and I've got some spares here, and I can always get some more mature plants, but this will be various tomatoes. There's some pink bumblebees, some purple bumblebees, all sorts in there, to be honest. And then there's kind of some random ones here, some tumbling ones, which I need to kind of put in a basket as well. Random chili plants just left in a bucket. And then the onion and carrot bed. Carrots, I've got a few, and then I replanted it all with seed tape, and they are sprouting, they are coming up. Again, needs another good weed. And my marigolds, some of them are okay, some of them haven't really made it, so I need to sort that bed out when I get back. But the onions are all starting to flop, which is great, so we should have some energy going down into making those big onion bulbs. So there's onions and shallots in there, and I'm excited to see what they're going to look like when I get back. Onto the other side then. So this was a kind of random salad bed. There's some random radishes and some spinach in here that's bolted. It's just been so hot this May. It's like 22 degrees every day already. So yeah, so there's a few radishes I've had from there so far, but again, haven't really done a huge amount with this yet. And then the gooseberry bush is looking amazing. It is absolutely, just put some stuff down, absolutely covered in gooseberries. Let me see if I can show you. You can see my pretty terrible skills here. Look, absolutely covered. I've got some netting on to protect from the birds a little bit, but when I get back from holiday I need to lift it because they're getting pretty fat, these gooseberries. You can just see down there, you probably can't see. They're getting pretty fat, so I need to kind of lift with a hoop, so that when they ripen the birds don't just take all of them, but it is absolutely covered. This blueberry bush is doing pretty well, loads of blueberries, again growing through the netting, so I need to kind of look at lifting this off. and I've got a few of my first strawberries coming through here. These are the first year of these strawberries, so I'm not expecting much from them, although I did buy them from the garden centre, so I'm not sure if they're actually 2 years old, but I just decided to stop picking the flowers off and just see what happens. But yeah, again, need to put some straw around those, but they are coming through. Hang on, just caught a little bit. So then this is the kind of last section of this right hand side to sort out, which I'm going to make into a kind of bigger strawberry bed with some mature plants. But I did empty a packet of chard onto here in February, and it has just gone mad. So I've been coming up and just kind of picking some of the young leaves, eating them in salads, eating them as I walk around. So yeah, you don't just thin it out if you're just eating it for like salad leaves. It's only if you want it to grow bigger. So yeah, happy with that. This is some pepper plants that are still in their pots, some chilies, some more tomatoes. I'm just kind of using this as a bit of a divider to show me how far I've got to, but they're all looking pretty healthy. And this I planted last week, so there's nothing to see here yet, but there's basically a row of normal radishes, a row of oriental salad leaves, a row of chard, a row of spinach, and a row of kind of pointy, I think they're called Rosso radishes, which look a bit like carrots. You can see on the little label here that's come out, but they're radishes. So I'm excited for this bed. This is really full of weeds, so it took quite a while. And then here we've got my 2 courgette plants, one yellow, one green. They went in about a week ago. They're still growing. They've just put out their kind of proper leaves. So I'm hoping they're going to grow really big and we're going to get loads of courgettes. And then I made these 2 bean TP trellis things. I've only planted 4 plants so far that I grew at home, but they look really, really healthy. There's Firestorm, and then there's one that I don't know the variety of because they were here when we got the allotment and my mum saved all the seeds. So I think I'm going to use this for runner beans. I might put some French beans in this one. But yeah, happy with that. And then let me just walk you to the back of the plot, because you can see the coffins are completely full of weeds, but what I've decided to do, because it is the end of May and just kind of from a time perspective, I'm going to dig them all out. I'm going to fill it with manure and compost, and then I'm going to sow wildflowers and sunflowers in there for the bees. I pulled off all the clematis, it just wasn't really starting well and it was just a mess. And I've planted some pink monge too in these at the bottom. They're not doing amazing. We shall see what happens. The one in the shade seems to be a bit happier than the one in the sun. Maybe I'll swap them over just before I go home, but these are pink monge too, which are climbers. And I had them kind of looped around this bottom wire, but they don't seem very happy, so I'm not really sure why. But yeah, all of these weeds I'm going to pull out and sow wildflower seedlings in there. Kiwi tree is looking great. It started budding, started fruiting. I had a little pot of violas which have come off in the wind we had this week, so I just need to pick that up. I trimmed the edges, not that you can tell anymore, it just everything grows so fast. But the main change I think this month is that we've extended the wood chip path through the archway and into a kind of seating and barbecue area. So this will be, I've got a set of seats at home and a table that I'm going to bring up here. I've just got these plastic ones sat here today, and this side will be the barbecue area. So this took about 30 wheelbarrows with my husband, so it was a big job. And then this I did cover with black weed suppressant fabric to kind of start pushing this down, getting ready. We're kind of working towards the back, but I didn't tie it together properly and then it all kind of blew apart, so it's a 2-person job I think. Yeah, you can see where I've trimmed the edges. We put a brick border on the new seating and barbecue area, which looks really good. So yeah, I'm not going to show you in the shed because it's a complete mess. kind of more random stuff here. There's loads of self-seeded strawberries, self-seeded poppies, self-seeded roses, but again, I just haven't got this far back yet. This is my comfrey tea bin, which I just spent an hour filling up with water, and then it fell over and hit me on the foot and hurt my blister. But there's still about half of it full of water and I can't do any more. So it's full of comfrey in a single duvet, so that the pieces of the plant don't get into the tap and kind of stop it from coming out. And it was on a stand, you can see, but I clearly didn't secure it very well. So yeah, it's a bit annoying, but hopefully in about 10 days time I should have some great comfrey fertilizer that I can use and everything. And then the only other thing to show you past this jungle that I need to, again, sort out, we built a toilet. So I'm not going to open it, but there's a toilet door, we put a back on it, and we got a chemical toilet, so there is somewhere for people to use, and it has a back on it. It's made from my husband's old golf shed, so really happy that I can spend a bit longer down here, because it is always a challenge. And then with my grandma's coming to visit and my sister who's pregnant and all that kind of stuff, you know, you want somewhere that they can relieve themselves. So just walking back towards the front past all of the mess, yeah, really happy with this new area. We've got a lot done in a month. I think it's hard with an allotment, you always see what you still have to do but not what you've actually done. So 40 new brassicas in, the beans in, new beds being opened all the time, and this fantastic area. I came up and read my book here. I got about 20 minutes before I then freaked out that I needed to do something, but you know, the idea's there. And yeah, so we're getting charred at the moment, and coming into June I'm hoping we're going to get some potatoes for the next month.